Josh, obviously the last 5 weeks have been just nuts, like just a lot of crazy stuff going on. And so I'm just curious, honestly, what's the craziest thing you've seen in the last 5 weeks during this pandemic? It could be personal or professional.
I was going to say, my wife would say that it was that I took clippers to my head and just cut all my hair off. So personally, that's what it would be. But then professionally, unfortunately, it's just seeing a lot of closure of business. I think that we all know that these are very unfortunate times that we're going through right now, but it's been somewhat painful to see friends, colleagues, people being laid off through this. So I know that we'll all make it out on the other end. It's not going to look quite like what it used to look like, but I do believe that we'll all stick together and we'll get through this. But professionally, it's just been a little bit heartbreaking to see those businesses close up and then friends and family and peers, unfortunately lose their jobs.
Yeah. I guess we should have backed up since we introduced ourselves. We should have introduced, obviously you are the CTO, but at Cerdant, but you also are a fellow Buckeye like myself, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Based in the lovely state of Ohio. And I guess any other thing you want to share about yourself as we kick this off and get started?
I would just say that even from a professional standpoint, although I'm the CTO, you guys know that my passion really lies with the people, the human aspect of business. So this talk today kind of resonates a lot with that because it blends my love of technology and people and passion together. So super excited to be here.
Yeah, and as much as there is AI everywhere, this is clearly we are all real people. There is no AI going on in this conversation right now, just to make that clear.
Right.
Maybe Chris, maybe in the background, I don't know. He may be having some AI work. Well, great. So obviously, outside of just, the craziness that's gone on with the pandemic, I think one of the topics that when we deal with at ChannelBytes, we deal with a lot of partners, we deal with a lot of technology companies, and we've constantly been getting feedback about this crazy new dynamic of basically how to communicate and how to work with people, that are fully remote and like you, obviously you're in the office as an essential business, but we're just hearing a ton of feedback about it. I'm just curious, what are you seeing and what are you guys doing about it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess first, for me, just to, as we've discussed, it is a little bit differently. You guys are at home right now. I am in the office. Just so people know, we're running a skeleton crew right now in the office. So at any given point in time, we have 7 to 9 employees here. We're doing social distancing and doing the right thing. But for me, it's important that I'm actually here in the office with these employees and helping to support them because I couldn't rightfully ask somebody to come into the office and then me stay at home and all cooped up. So I come in every day and help support the employees and super appreciative of these employees that come in every day. And, we are an essential business, so we're allowed to be in the office doing our social distancing. But we have things in the office that have to happen every single day, from shipping and receiving to lab work. And we do that very mindfully, but that is the reason why you see me coming from the office today. Back to your question, though, from a communication standpoint, I'm a pretty transparent person. So is Mike Johnson, our CEO. A lot of times, we're over communicators. So our communication hasn't changed much. It's just more of our style that has, because we're not in person anymore. So we do a lot of weekly email communication back and forth with employees, not only just to let them know that we're here for them, but to let them know what the state of the business is. Right now, there's a lot of uncertainty out there, so it's super important to communicate to your employees to try to calm any fears that you can, because I'm sure that your employees are wondering, are they going to have a job? How's the business doing? What's the next 2 or 3 months look like? And we might not know that, but we do know what we know now, and we can provide that information to them. I'm also making sure every single day I'm checking in on employees in the morning. I'm getting up even earlier, checking in with the employees so they have a message waiting on me to make sure they're doing okay. Whether that's to talk about the weather or whether they worked out the night before or that morning. I want them to know that I'm here for them and that Cerdant is as well. And, we've made uber important to all of our managers to make sure that we maintain all of our one-on-ones that we have with employees. We're a heavy one-on-one company, very social. So we've made sure that we continue to have those one-on-ones. That might mean that there are video calls now, but we're still making sure that we have some normalcy in doing our day-to-day one-on-ones with employees.
So given that you're an MSSP and one of those S's stands for security, what have you done to ensure that your support team, now that, you know, some of them are remote, can still take care of the customers and do it securely?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I know that a lot of businesses we're working with are battling that today, but honestly, we've been really lucky. For about 15 years now, we've had remote employees in some fashion. Several of our employees are 100% remote, and many work from home anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4 days a week right now. Each one of those employees have many offices that we've created at their house, so the technology is really the same at their house as it would be in our office. Now, that can be expensive for some businesses to do, but we found ways to cut costs on that while still maintaining security. And right now, if any of our customers called in, they would never know if the employee was at their house or if they were at HQ in Dublin, Ohio. You know, that employee could be in the office with me, or they could be in their pajamas sitting at home right now, and no customer's going to know the difference.
Unless they turn on that Zoom camera, then they're going to see that those pajamas, which.
That is exactly right. Although we did have pajama day in the office a couple weeks ago, so everybody was in their pajamas. But yeah, I mean, you're doing Zoom calls now, or GoToMeeting, whatever you might be using. You're seeing spouses and kids and pets and everything else, which to me is very real and raw. But for us, we'd already flushed this out for our current employees, and we actually used remote work for our disaster recovery procedure. So it was really a light switch for us. I know that was not the case for many businesses that we work with, but it gives us peace of mind because we already know that our security controls that we have in place for employee home networks, they're already there. And it makes it really difficult for somebody to try to compromise employees' home, if not compromised already, and get back into our office network.